Welcome into the Board of Spreads presented by BetMGM. Week 2 in the National Football League. I am Nick Kostos here to give you the best bets, we hope, for week number 2. And how about this? The production budget has been upped here at BetMGM because your boy went 3-2 last week. How about that? We've dispensed with the piece of tape, and now we actually... It's like a real professional microphone. Now, if I go 0-5, I might be doing this from a cardboard box next week. So let's keep it rolling in week number 2, and we do it with the Board of Spreads. Board of Spreads, please be good to us yet again in the National Football League. And as always, we will start with the games that I have no interest in betting. And I can't wait to watch this game in Jacksonville between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Rematch of the divisional round, won, of course, by the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City now a 3.5-point favorite. You know what that number is? Right, because Travis Kelce, he's going to play. Chris Jones, he's going to play. Kansas City favored by a field goal is correct. You want to bet this game? Go for it. You want to bet the over? Sounds fun. Maybe you'll win. Am I going to bet it? No interest in betting. The Kansas City Chiefs and the Jacksonville Jaguars. The next game that I have no interest in betting will be the San Francisco 49ers on the road at the Los Angeles Rams. And the reason is really simple. The reason is I have no idea what this LA Rams team is. How about last week? I bet on the Seattle Seahawks. Matthew Stafford turning back the clock. Tutu Atwell looking like Randy Moss. Puka Nacua looking like Cooper Kupp. Who the hell are these guys? I hope you picked them up in your fantasy leagues because they're both great. San Francisco looking like world beaters. Thrashing the Steelers in Pittsburgh. Matthew Stafford down by 14 in the fourth quarter. You want to bet against that? I have no idea what the hell is going to happen in this game in the NFC West, so no bet for me on the 49ers and the Rams. The next game that I have no interest in betting, oh my God, I'm a New York Giants fan. How about that performance on Sunday night? You get a 40-0 against the Dallas Cowboys, but the tonic that can cure all those ails, a trip to Arizona, to the desert, to take on the worst team in the league, the Arizona Cardinals. But we'll say this, Calamity Gannon. If you played Breath of the Wild, Legend of Zelda, you'll get that. If not, you should play it. It's a really great game. But Arizona with Calamity Gannon as the head coach, maybe they could confuse Daniel Jones, who has a perpetual look on his confusion on his face to begin with. No bet for me on this game. Giants should win. Will they cover? I'm not sure. So we won't be betting the Giants and the Arizona Cardinals. And the last game that I have no interest in betting, battle of two rookie starting quarterbacks who both look kind of okay in week number 1. How about C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans hosting Anthony Richardson and the Indianapolis Colts? Now you want to talk about bad beats. How about the Indianapolis Colts last week against the Jacksonville Jaguars? They're down by 10 at the end of the game. We got them plus 4.5. They're down at the goal line, 2nd and goal from the 1 with a veritable tank at quarterback and Anthony Richardson, and he leaves the game. Here comes Gardner Minshew. 3 chances to get in the end zone. They don't get it done, and the Jaguars cover the spread. Absolutely terrible. Had to bet this game. I guess I'd go Indianapolis, but I don't have to bet it. So I won't be betting that son of a bitch with the Colts and the Houston Texans. Now we'll go to the games that I like but don't love. And let's go to Green Bay and Atlanta. Like both of these teams this year, like both of these head coaches. My problem, though, is that Arthur Smith, the head coach of the Falcons, is like the living, breathing embodiment of people that hate fantasy football. Oh, you're excited to start Kyle Pitts. We drafted him 4th overall. Fuck you. Oh, you're excited to start Drake London. We took him in the top 10 a couple years ago. Everybody loves the Drake. He started from the bottom, and now he's here. Piss off. What about Bijan Robinson? Oh, Bijan did score last week, but here's Tyler Algier twice in the 4th quarter to shove it up your derriere. So Arthur Smith, I hate him, but I love Jordan Love. We want to make sure Christian Watson and Aaron Jones are going to play, and if that's the case, let's take the Packers as a road favorite on the road in Atlanta against the Falcons. How about the Commanders on the road in Denver? This one's really easy. The quarterback for Washington is better than the quarterback in Denver. I'm going to say this really slowly. The quarterback in Denver is a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's worse than the guy that was picked in the 5th round last year and will be making his 3rd NFL start. Russell Wilson, one of the worst quarterbacks in the league. Sean Payton's got to be happy that weed's legalized in Colorado because he's going to be terrible. He's going to feel awful watching Russell Wilson all season long. You need Denver to win this game by 4. Give me a break. Maybe they win by 3. Let's take Sammy Howell, Slinging Sammy, and the Washington Commanders plus 3.5 on the road in Denver. Moving on. How about Sunday Night Football, AFC East? Dolphins and the Patriots. Oh, baby, I got the need for speed. It could have been a setup to another joke, but thought I'd go with need for speed. You know, because the Dolphins have really fast players like Tyreek Hill, like Jalen Waddle. You know what the Patriots don't have? Speed. Now that the line is 3, I don't love it as much. It was 2.5 earlier in the week, but if you've got to bet this game, it's only the Miami Dolphins, and I like that over as well with Miami, and the New England Patriots like it. but don't love it. How about Cincinnati hosting Baltimore? Cincy, off Joe Burrow's worst ever career performance last week. That was a loss last week, not just for the Bengals and Joe Burrow, but for tall, handsome, rich guys. And a win for short, ugly, non-rich guys like me. And maybe like you. But like happens so often in life, the tall guy, the handsome guy, the rich guy, he comes out on top. And Baltimore dealing with injuries on the offensive line, bounce back spot for Burrow, bounce back spot for T. Higgins, for Jamar Chase and the Bengals offense. Cincinnati look for 3. Cincinnati -3 against Baltimore will be a bet that we will make coming up this NFL Sunday. Oh man, Josh Allen, my God. Just throw the ball away, dude. Not every drive has to be the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl and you're down by 4 and you need a touchdown. Just stop it, my dude. Now, last week we bet the Las Vegas Raiders, and the Raiders getting the job done on the road in Denver against the Broncos. Can't back the Raiders this week. Bounce back spot for Buffalo. We're jumping through tables. Hashtag Bills Mafia. Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis, James Cook and company get the job done. Bills winning by double digits and cover against the Las Vegas Raiders. How many do we have left here? Okay, one more that I like but don't love. Let's go to Monday Night Football. My math's not great. Kenny Pickett and the Pittsburgh Steelers. God, they got bulldozed last week by the 49ers. Taking on the Browns, who bulldozed the Cincinnati Bengals. Problem with Cleveland? I still don't think Deshaun Watson's great. The Browns defense played great. Watson's slightly above average in my estimation. The Pittsburgh Steelers +2.5 and a bounce back spot against the Cleveland Browns on Monday Night Football. And that takes us to the 5 games, my favorite 5 bets for this week in the NFL. 3-2 last week. This week we're going for 4-1 or 5-0. Now, last week, I told you that the Beatles fucking sucked, which is true. But a lot of you got really upset about that. So I've resolved for this week to be kinder, gentler Nick in the Board of Spreads presented by BetMGM. I would never say, ever, that Justin Fields is terrible at football. I would never say, never in a million years would I say the Bears will once again be picking in the top 3 of the NFL draft. And I would never even insinuate that head coach Matt Eberflus is better suited to be selling used Winnebagos than he is to be coaching in the NFL. I would never say any of those things. But what I will say, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers laying only 2.5 at home against the Chicago Bears? Really? Give me the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa is the bet here. Tampa -2.5. Best bet number 1. Fire the cannons. Bears suck. Chicago on the clock. Tampa -2.5. Best bet number 1. Man, now we're going to go to Detroit. You know who's in a lot of trouble this week? Geno Smith. You know why? Because both of his starting tackles are going to be out in this game. We know Abe Lucas for sure, probably Charles Cross. You know who's licking his chops? Aiden Hutchinson. You know who's going to be in an absolute froth? Detroit Lions fans. Then that's going to be a crazy home field advantage. Extra rest for the Lions coming off the season opening win in Kansas City. I love Detroit in this game. This is going to be like the actual literal Roman Coliseum, and Aiden Hutchinson will be like an actual real lion stalking his prey, Geno Smith. Lions win big. Lions -5.5. Best bet number 2 in week number 2 in the National Football League. This one's going to make me sick. It's going to make you sick also. The Chargers, 3-point road favorites in Tennessee against the Titans. Last week, we bet Tennessee, and they came through for us. This week, we will be going against Tennessee. And the reason is the assumption of rational coaching. If Brandon Staley has his head screwed on straight, which might be a problem, but if he does, the Chargers are going to throw the ball all over this terrible Tennessee Titans secondary, and the Chargers are going to win by double digits. But the assumption of rational coaching with Brandon Staley is like the assumption that your crazy uncle will not be making 50 Facebook posts about that alien that they found in Mexico. But we will go with the Chargers and that high-flying, high-octane passing offense against the Tennessee Titans. Even if Austin Eckler doesn't play, give me the LA Chargers laying the points on the road in Tennessee. Oh, my God. How about the Jets and the Dallas Cowboys? What a brutal start to the season for Jets fans. You lose Aaron Rodgers, but at least you win on Monday Night Football against the Buffalo Bills. And then Aaron Rodgers makes that Instagram post saying, "Oh, it's almost darkest before the dawn. I shall rise again." This dude literally thinks he's the main character in a Christopher Nolan movie. It's absolutely ridiculous. And now we go to Zach Wilson. But even with that said, way too many points with this Jets defense. I know how good the Cowboys defense is, but you're going to give me 9 with Sauce Gardner, Quinnen Williams, and the Jets defense? I like the Jets to fall inside the number. May God have mercy on my soul. And let's go under the total as well. Total feels high by maybe about, 20 points in this game. Under and the New York Jets for another best bet this week in the National Football League. And the final one. You want to talk about a bet making you sick? How about betting on Derek Carr and Dennis Allen in prime time on the road. Because Carr's the worst and Dennis Allen is the worst. The problem, though, Carolina's offensive line is brutal. Bryce Young doesn't have any weapons. Against my better judgment, let's lay the 3 on the road with the New Orleans Saints to wrap up the best bets for week 2 in the NFL. And there you have it, the board of spreads. Following a winning week in week number 1, we're looking to keep it rolling here in week number 2, presented by our friends at BetMGM.